A politics professor says women in parliament are unfairly targeted compared to their male counterparts. This is in reaction to allegations against two Fiji cabinet ministers caught up in a sex and drug scandal. Earlier in the week on the show, we had Fiji's Deputy Prime Minister, Biman Prasad, speaking with Elisha Foon, who asked him about the allegations regarding the two MPs. Women's Minister Linda Tamboya is in the spotlight for an alleged affair with sacked Education Minister Aseri Ranjojo during their official travel last year. Mr Ranjojo was dismissed from the education portfolio last Friday by Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka concerning a separate issue. But now an inquiry will be carried out by Mr Rabuka's People's Alliance Party into Ms Tamboya's conduct as a result of those allegations. Elisha Foon spoke with Professor John Fraenkel of Victoria University in Wellington to get his take on Fiji's political saga.
The events with Aseri Ranjojo, the former education minister, who's a member of the small party SODELPA, that's the third party in the coalition. These events have been going on a long time, particularly since the election of December 2022, when the outcome should have been 29 votes for the governing coalition as against 26 for Fiji First. But there was one MP that voted with the other side, and it's widely suspected that that was Aseri Ranjojo. Nevertheless, he was brought into government. There's been continual disagreements between him and the Prime Minister. There was an attempted reshuffle in October trying to get Mr Ranjojo out of the Education Ministry, but that was badly mishandled. But I think the Prime Minister has wanted to do something about this ever since and has now got round to doing it. And what's not been reported in the media properly is that Rabuka would not have done this without some kind of liaising with the leader of SODELPA, Viliami Gavoka. We already saw back in October, at the time of the attempted reshuffle, that he needed to keep those communications very tight. He'd be foolish not to do that. And Rabuka is not a fool. He's a very astute politician. So I think that's not being reported properly in the media.
Let's add some more clarity then. With these serious allegations, could there be a deeper story, some more allegations of misconduct? Does Rabuka know more than he's letting on? And why hasn't he, fronted media, talked about these directly?
Well, there's lots of bad blood between Rabuka and Aseri Ranjojo. Aseri Ranjojo was married to Rabuka's daughter. There was some nasty incidences of abuse in that relationship. It's a long time ago now. People have forgiven him, but there's certainly a lot of bad blood between them. I think the sacking there has to do with insubordination and refusing to do what the Prime Minister asked in relation to the Fiji National University Board rather than anything else. You say serious allegations that I suppose insubordination is serious. In his press conference yesterday said that it was illegal for a minister to be sacked unless they'd broken the law. But this is not true. It is with the Prime Minister's prerogative to sack any minister if the minister is not doing their job properly. I do think moving forward, the Prime Minister and the political parties in government are going to have to get used to operating in a context where they need to make use of the party machinery to discipline members from time to time. After all, if a member is expelled from a party, the next person on the list comes into Parliament. So there are adjustments that can certainly be made, and the former governing Fiji First Party did make those adjustments.
Formal complaint laid against Fiji's Minister for Women, Linda Tamboya, which could see her dismissed. Now, what do you make of this?
I think that there are all these sex scandals about her relationship with Aseri Ranjojo in Melbourne. I think those kind of things are best kept out of the media. They're private business between Linda Tamboya and Mr Ranjojo. I think we should concentrate rather on her competence and efficiency as a minister in terms of her actual area of responsibility. I think it's disgraceful that some people have been putting up these images that got from someone's text messages on a mobile phone, putting these images up on media. I think that the privacy of these people should be respected. If there has been illegal activity committed, then that's to legal authorities. It's not something to be paraded. These allegations shouldn't be paraded in the media in this kind of way. I think there are far more serious and important issues that Fiji needs to concentrate on about the actual management of government rather than these private matters.
Could we see Linda Tubuia being dismissed as well? And is it a coincidence that these two ministers who have been, I guess, named as part of this allegations around, sex and drugs, will we see her dismissed, do you think?
Well, I don't think, Linda Tubuia is an extraordinary new, talented politician who came in for the first time in, I think, 2018, as a member of SADELPA. She was attacked straight away by conservative SADELPA MPs, saying that she didn't have the right dress sense. Another up-and-coming woman, MPSR, Giratambua, has also been criticised, fat-shamed in a ridiculous way by people on social media. I think these are the stars of Fiji politics, and they should be given a chance. And if they're criticised, they should be criticised for the performance of their ministerial duties, not for all these other things. There are lots of people who want to carp and attack these new generation politicians, whereas actually it's a breath of fresh air for Fiji that they're there.
I spoke with Deputy Prime Minister Biman Prasad earlier this week, and he was adamant the coalition government was strong. Is this a strong coalition?
I mean, it's a strong coalition, but they've had to make a lot of concessions to SADELPA to keep them on board, and that's been a problem. I think the Viliami Gavuka, the leader of SADELPA, gave a statement just earlier today, I think, making clear that SADELPA continue to support the Rambuka-led coalition. I think it's excellent that Fiji at last has a government that's not a military-backed government, but is nevertheless a coalition between a major Fiji Indian-backed party and a major ethnic Fijian-backed party. I think that's to be celebrated.
What can we expect in the coming days and weeks? What are some of your predictions?
I think that these scandals will probably continue. SADELPA may have to deal with Aseri Randrondro themselves. They may need to consider bringing in the next person on the list, who would be Rota Mumukepa. And indeed, Rota Mumukepa would be an excellent appointment as Minister of Education, given that she's held that job and carried it out very efficiently before under the pre-coup government. I think there are going to be some major issues about the appointment of the Chief Justice, who's only in an acting role at the moment. There are some controversies there. I think something needs to be done about the existing Attorney General, who Rambuka clearly wanted to reshuffle last October, but that was a real mess up. I think that Siromi Taranga's skills might better be used in a different ministry. Under the 2013 Constitution, the Attorney General's position is extremely powerful. It was a shame that Viliami Vosaranga, who was in October earmarked for that job, had these offences recorded against him by the Judicial Services Commission, because he would have been great in that post. But he could still become Minister of Justice, and someone else could be brought into the Attorney General role. Those are some of the things I think they're going to have to consider over the months ahead. The economy is always critical. Tourism has rebounded strongly, but the sugar industry is still in a bad state. There are still a lot of fiscal difficulties hanging over the government from the COVID period. These things are going to be big issues over the months ahead.